Welcome to Mobile Rolling. After the break, it'll be my pleasure to be talking to an absolute gentleman and a horseman, and we will be talking to Bill Green. Welcome to Mobile Rolling, Bill.
Thank you.
Pleasure to have you on.
Thank you.
Some people may know the name, some people may know who you are, but as I always say, it's probably best to come from you. Start from the start, where you were born, what year you were born, and say some of your early life up to when you're old enough to get into the horses.
Yeah, I was born in St Peters, late, on the 17th of January 1931. Which makes my age now 90 years old. Don't like admitting it, but I am, and I wish I was back in the 40s and 50s. I started riding when I was on a rocking horse, and when I was 3 years of age, I rode my first horse was my sister's pony, and I rode my pony, or her pony, for a long time until I was able to do things from the
just in that, Bill, where were you living at that stage to drive?
Living in St Peters.
So you had a pony at St Peters?
Pony at St Peters, and those days there was quite a few horses in the area. There was a veterinary surgeon down in Fifth Avenue, and they used to stable horses there. And I finished up stabling a lot of my trotters there. I only trained 2 horses at a time, and mainly only one, because the time you put into training, especially trotters, it takes a long time.
So a lot of the older, inverted commas, generation didn't go to school because they had to stay home and help with odds and ends and chores and whatever. What school, did you go to school at all, or how long before you left school?
We won't go into that too deeply because...
You liked school as much as me, Bill, did you?
I went to school and didn't go long enough.
We all didn't.
Nevertheless, I went to school and I left when I was 14.
Okay. So when you were 14, did you just work around home, or did you get?
No, I went on the stud farm up at Virginia for about 12 months, looking after a stallion called Saltoy.
Was he a galloper or
galloper? Yeah,
thoroughbred.
He was a galloper, and from then I just sort of wandered around a bit.
That's a fairly big task for a 14-year-old lad.
It was a big experience.
Was he successful?
Stallion, yeah, good horse to handle. Had to be careful, but as you are with all horses, you just don't trust them.
So from 14 through to say, when did you start working at all? Were you in your teens or 20s or?
Yeah, I started doing a bit when I was about 18 and 19, and I started teaching equestrian.
Oh, yeah.
And taking on horses that were hard to handle by people. And then until I was 21.
So who was the early influence on you at the age of, from say 3 till 14? You've obviously couldn't look after a stallion unless you'd had some good education. Who taught you to?
I had a very good parents, and I think it's born into you through your genes.
Yeah.
My grandfather was well known, and on my mother's side he was into trotting, a fellow called Tom Tessery. And I think that you go through on both sides of your family. You got to have it in you to want to do this sort of thing. And I've had a lot of injuries, and I've luckily I'm 90 years of age. I'm on a walker. My back is completely worn out. As the doctor says, my lumbar spine. But nevertheless, I live life, and I got to watch it.
So getting back to, you say it's in your genes. So would it be fair to say that you can be made a trainer, but you're born a horseman? Would that be probably the way to put it?
Quite right.
Okay. So when did you get into trotting? We won't call it harness racing because it's always trotting.
I went into trotting in 1957, and
so that was in your 20s, was it?
Yeah.
So
in 1957, I went into trotting. I was 25, 26.
Where were you living at that stage?
I always loved trotting because my parents used to take me to the Wavell every Saturday night and watched trotting. And I got into it, and I used to say to myself, one day I'll drive a big winner here, and I did.
So where were you living when you had your first horse, and where were
Living
you
in
training?
St. Peters.
Still in St. Peters?
In St. Peters. And I used to train at the Clemsig track and or Campbelltown. Only had 2 horses at a time. You had to have council permission, as you know, to keep horses in the area. And at that stage, a long time ago, there was quite a few horses in the area. And then things got going again, and I got lucky to get onto this good horse who turned out to be really good for me. It made me.
So what was that one?
Real Scholar.
So where did you get him from?
I met a chap called Leslie Timothy Dodd, who was an expert horseman, and he said, I'll teach you to drive. He taught me to drive. You got to have the right hands to drive a horse trotter. You got to be nice and strong, and you got to be nice and light, so you can drive with a piece of string. And he got me this horse, which was Real Scholar, who was owned by Dick Webster, and who, as you know, was the top driver in South Australia for many, many years. I had no trotting bike, I had no harness, and Dick Webster lent me the harness and the hobbles until I got on my feet to buy the same.
So he would have been at Weagle. He would have been at Clemsig then as well. Yeah,
that's right.
Just up the road.
The whole brothers lived there.
Yeah.
And I started to train her, and she was a very good beginner. She couldn't stay very much. About 10.5 furlongs was about as far as she wanted to go as a pacer. And so I thought one day...
So she was a pacer?
As a pacer.
Right, yep.
So one day I decided... I used to work her out around Yatala, around the back roads of Yatala and all around that Northfield. And one day she broke into a trot. And she really trotted. Her mother was called Real Vane, and she was a trotter in Sydney, and she won the Derby in Sydney when she was a 3-year-old. I did not know this. She broke into a trot, and my word, I thought, I've got something here, because she was very good and settled down really. So I asked my friend, Mr. Dodd, to help me, and he did. And we changed her over. I had to get permission from Mr. Webster to change gaits from a trotter to a pacer.
Pacer to a trotting,
Got to go through the procedure with the trotting legs. And the first start, we gave her at Victor Harbour on New Year's Day as a trotter. And I said to Mr. Webster, who was, would you like to drive her? But I said, she'll win. And she won very, very easy.
Did he drive her?
He drove her.
And what did he say? He was pretty
He
happy.
was very happy because he owned it and he drove it. And he was, had her on lease. And then I went on with her, and from a horse that couldn't run 10.5, 11 furlongs, she won 2 races at Wavell over 15.5 furlongs. So it's nearly 2 miles.
3,000 metres.
Her gate was a trotter, and that's how it started.
So did you have any others out of that family?
Yeah. No others out of that family. I had a horse called Lord Sharon, who was a New South Wales pacer. It was actually given to me because he would never leave the barrier. And it was before the mobiles come in here. And I remember it was Christmas Eve, 1960, 24th of December. I had both horses in at Wavell, and Real Scholar was in the second race. And I only had 1.5 sets of harness. So I didn't have much money to buy a lot of harness. And she won over 15.5 furlongs at 33 to 1. In the next race, Lord Sharon was in, and he won it at 100 to 1. So I got my double, and I got a bit of money.
A little bit of cash.
Bit of cash, which I put into my horses.
Exactly. So you specialised in the trotters, not the pacers?
I love the trotters because they're a challenge to you. Anyone can get a pacer going, I'm saying everyone, but the trotter is a challenge to you. There's 2 types of trotters. There's a line trotter and a square trotter. And the line trotter is a far faster horse, in my opinion. And I concentrated on the trotters, and I had a lot of success.
So now you drove most of them yourself, Bill?
Yeah, I drove. Started off as a permit driver, and I finished up an A-class driver.
So how many, you also drove outside horses?
Yes, I drove outside horses. On the following 31st of December that year, I drove a horse for Mrs. Cherry Duller, who was a great friend of everyone in the racing industry. Her son was a jockey, 2 jockeys, and we went to Narracourt, and I won another 2 races that night. So I drove 4 winners in a week, which I was pretty lucky. But it was just nice to win a race for her.
So that was around the showgrounds, wasn't it?
Yeah, under the showgrounds, Narracourt.
Yeah. So what the first winner you had was Real Scholar, was it?
Real Scholar, yeah.
And what's the last one you had? Do you remember?
A horse called Ballard's Pride. She would say...
A trotter again? A trotter again?
Yes, naturally.
Yep.
I had Ballard's Pride, at least Ballard's Pride, and the same owner that was Ever Square. And my opinion, Rossi Webster was very, very good with young horses. And I remember I said, would you take this, because I had a broken wrist at the time, and break her in for me. This was Ballard's Pride. And I went out to Clemsey one morning and I saw him working her, and I thought, this is the best horse I've ever had. This is the fastest thing I've seen. And I actually took her home and I started the preparation off, because I wanted to win the Hadfield Futurity, which was a big race at Cadena. And this mare was so fast, this filly. I go to the trials at Globe Derby on a Wednesday night, and she was that far in front, I had to slow up for the others to get nearer. I've never driven anything that's so fast. That and Pride was brilliant. They're all brilliant horses. They all won races for me. But this little mare, she was very small. She'd be flat out to be 15 hands. I educated her by taking her to the trials. I educated her by taking her to the Wayville on Saturday night, just letting her stand around with the crowd. In those days, people used to go to the trots. Take her home, have a radio going in the stable for her, educate her to
Settle
perfection.
down there, get used to it.
So we go to Cadena for the big race, and he drew 1, and Greg Sugars was alongside me, and he jumped sideways and pushed me into the running row. I lost 50 yards at the start, and Jim Hurley was driving a horse called, he turned out to be a good horse, and he was 50 yards in front of me. I finished up losing 50 yards and winning by 60 yards.
Really?
He was
So what year was that?
But
What year was that?
I'm just trying to think. I'm trying to find a photo today, and I couldn't find it. I think.
Oh, well, I'm sure the boys will be able to put it up, and we'll know for sure.
Yeah. So finished up. There was only one fault with her. She was a kicker in the yards, and she used to kick at the rails and do this, and I used to have hobble chains on her, do everything. My daughter came home one night and said, "Dad, you better come down and have a look at your filly." She kicked her leg over the rail, and she hurt her back. I turned her out. She had to have a holiday, and she got killed in the paddock.
Oh, that's no good.
Yeah, so that was...
So other than the trotting, you have a distinguished career in. You had gallopers. Did you? You trained a couple of gallopers, did you? Or?
Yeah, I had gallopers. I became very good friends with Mr. Jim Houlihan, who was a trainer, top jumping trainer in Melbourne, and I used to spend sometimes up to a month over there on my holiday if I could get over. And they lived out at Rosebud, and I learned a lot from him.
So what was the first galloper that you trained?
The first
or did you train it, or
was,
did you have
was
one?
a horse called Thetos.
Yeah, and where did he come from?
I bought him from Melbourne, and he won the Von Ducer. He won. He ran fourth in the Great East, and he should have won. And he won 3 or 4 more in Adelaide. And he finished up in the police department because he was a grey horse.
Oh, okay.
And his name was Bounty.
So how many gallopers did you train in your lifetime?
I trained only about 3 or 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you also was in. You did the eventing and all that, the Gawler 3-day, and other things that
I done
you've done?
show jumping, and I was mad on jumping, and I think it all comes back from my rocking horse days. And it's the only way to learn to ride. You got to have balance. I had a very good show jumper, and then went on and rode in Gawler 3-day events. And
So did you ever win the Gawler 3-day event?
no, I never ran placings a couple of times, 4th and 9th.
Okay.
But it's very hard to win. But the dressage was
So what
amazing.
about? Did you have? Did you ever go to the rodeos? You ever ride on them wild ones?
No, not into that.
Not into that.
Not
No,
into-
too clever for that.
No.
Now you had a distinguished career in the horse game, but you also people may recognise the name from the fact that you for over 10 years odd you ran the stud at Echunga with the grey horses for the mounted police. So obviously,
That's right.
What's the story there? Did they have their own stallion, or did what?
We had a stallion there. It was owned by the commissioner, Mr. Laurie Draper at the time. We used him. And but we used to send quite a few mares interstate.
So what breed were those grey?
He was a thoroughbred, but mostly they were warm bloods.
Warm bloods.
Yeah, and we bred quite a few. I bred about the years I was there, probably about 7 or 8.
So, considering the temperament that's required, how old would those horses be before they actually went out into the streets with the
Well, I'd
police?
start handling them. I'd start handling them within the first 2 weeks they're born. I'd bring the foals in with the mothers into the round yard, start putting your hands all over them, getting them nice and quiet, so the mothers wouldn't get upset. You must never take them away from the mother. Handle them and do that, and then when they're weaned at 7 months old, they're already half broken in.
So, but the fact that you've then got to teach them to be in amongst crowds and stuff, how old would they be? 4, 5, 6 years of age?
Between 5 to 8, yeah.
So what are they doing the rest of the time? They just
They go down to the
educate.
barrack, mainly in the police barrack 7 and there. Yeah.
Okay. So I think that may be where I think Michael Laird, who's a registered trainer and driver, I think he might run that operation.
Oh, he would do it, yeah.
So I think he's been up there for a while.
I had a bit of a stunt on 5DN for a couple of years. I didn't have any horses for a couple of years because of my knee, and I was reserve commentator, trotting commentator when Brian Martin or Kevin Dagg. I called races from Kapunda and Kadita, Wavell.
So in your day, Barmera, did you win your first race at Barmera?
When my first race at Barmera, when I was a driver, I was on a permit driver. I was.
So for those that don't know the industry, you would have places like Franklin Harbour, Kimber, Barmera, Snowtown, Murray Bridge,
Kadina.
All of those places that aren't there anymore.
Yeah,
They're not.
It's a shame because those people in the area should be able to go. And today, people to go to Globe Derby, how do people get there?
Exactly.
I couldn't get there. And that is the thing I missed. I remember driving at Wavell and driving around the track before the race, and you look in the members' stand was full, and the old cement stand on the corner at the 2 furlong posts was full, and people standing on the flat 3 and 4 deep, people wide. Thousands of people.
Well, I lived in Port Pirie, and we went to Fisherman's Bay. We had a shack there. I used to go to the Kadina Trots, and I always remember, Jeff Crosby on his white horse, and Kevin Sobey, and always huge crowds there, always,
Yeah.
And now there's nothing. So
well, the thing is, people have got television, but there's only one thing wrong in South Australia: we can't see the trots on television because there's no station who will do.
You got to have pay TV and stuff like that.
You know what I mean? And I miss it. It's. For me to go to Globe Derby, I got to get my friend to drive me out there, and I love it. But when you get there, nothing there. There's no atmosphere anymore with big track race. I love Wavell.
Well, everybody, they had it back to Wavell, about a couple of them, but the first one was monstrous. There was 7,000 or 8,000 people there.
That's right.
which, you know, when you start thinking the days of having 40,000, you
wouldn't
wonder where they all fitted.
I remember the days I was told this, that you left your seat in the member stand, you wouldn't get it back. Because, not that the member stand, but that big stand, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
And there was a lot of people there. And I remember Stan Messenger when he was driving. He used to drive right to the outside fence in the prelim. You never drive close to the outside fence because someone would grab you. Well, they wouldn't grab you, but you leave yourself open.
That's usually after, Bill, when you've driven a bad one.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, you also, I noticed that you, there was a reenactment of the
Gold Escort.
Gold Escort. Now, just tell everyone what happened there. So obviously,
well, it was we were on
trial
loan.
ride, wasn't it?
We were on loan to the South Australian government, and Peter Finch was the main actor, star actor.
So when was this? What year was this?
1957.
Oh my God, I was only a little thing.
Yeah, and we went to there's four of us went to Port Augusta, and there's a photo out in the other room of us, and I've never seen a film made ever.
I thought it was a film, wasn't it?
But it's completely different because I remember the first day I went on this property at a place called Wallachra. That's where they done the filming, and it looked like a house, and what it was only a wall inside. Open the door, there's nothing, and you think it's completely different. And to see a film made, and I was in the old type uniform.
So what were you? You were a mounted police or
mounted policeman?
How many was it? 4 of you.
Because
how many were riding the police horses?
Only me and there's 3 of us.
3 of us, yeah.
Yeah, but they weren't police horses. Only one.
Make out police horses, will they?
No, they were coloured horses.
Oh, okay.
Peter Finch rode Velox. He was the police horse. He was on loan from the government, and he only rode him. He was only used as Peter Finch's horse. My part in the film was my partner. We were hiding in a barn, and the outlaws would run outside of this house, attempt to get on their horses, which were always saddled. Their horses were never unsaddled those days, because you never know when they had to escape. So we had to stand there, and I reckon we rehearsed it for days and days and days, and what it would be, and I had a speaking part. The funny part about it, we do all the rehearsing, and then when we go to do the actual take, they forgot to tell me what I had to say, so we had to start all over again. And I had to say, Benjamin Marsden, James Marsden, I hold warrants for your arrest to answer the charges of cattle stealing.
Stand in the Queen's name. Up. Up. Benjamin Marston, James Marston, I hold warrants for your arrest to answer the charge of cattle stealing. Where's Dick Marston? Find him.
Where's Dick Marston? Well, Dick Marston was behind the wall. He's got to get me out into the open. So he throws something out and I run out. And I'm standing there with my pistol. And he comes up behind him and clubbers me on the back. Fair dinkum. And after about 10 or 15 times of falling down in the hot sand, you start to fall before he hits you. And I remember the director saying, "Don't fall till he hits you."
You say, well, I'm going to be out cold soon.
That's right. And that was...
So that was an actual movie, was it?
Oh, yeah, Robbery Under Arms, yeah.
Robbery Under Arms.
Yeah, it was a good movie. And then we went back down and we had to go back again and do it again. And then we're galloping scenes. I got shot 3 times in the movie at different scenes, you know.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I'm still here.
Oh, exactly. Other than your back.
But it was the greatest. I don't think it spoiled you because you know how movies are made now. and made back
well,
the
I think we all know that.
we all know
A
that.
little bit of ill truth there, Bill.
Yeah.
Some of those movies.
Yeah.
So basically, you've had gallopers, you've had jumpers, you've had everything. You've had paces, you've had trotters, and you've bred the horses for the
Please.
for the police at Grays.
And
You've done just about everything. So
I haven't got much of a body left.
well, we won't talk about that. We're all like that, but still, I hope I'm like you when I'm 90.
Yeah.
Look, I'm sure the boys will put together some of the
Thank you.
photos of your old days.
Good.
And it's been a pleasure to talk to Bill Green.
Thank you very much.